Hello and welcome to today's webinar sponsored by Topcon Solutions Store. I'm Wendy Finch. I'm the Marketing Director here at Topcon Solutions and thrilled to have you all on our webinar today. Today we're going to be talking about the Revu 2019 release from Bluebeam. And we're very fortunate to be able to bring this to you as one of the first resellers talking about what's new. Our presenter is going to talk about speed, accuracy, and standardization, it looks like. So before we do that, just a couple of housekeeping items. We will be doing, as time permits, we'll be doing a Q&A at the end. So in the menu bar of your GoToWebinar program, there is a questions tab, and you can type in your questions. And depending upon the flow, David can either stop in between topics or segments and we can do questions, or we can just do it all at the end. We'll let him kind of control that and do a Q&A probably at the end. If time does not allow for all the questions to get answered, they are recorded and we will reach out to you after the webinar to make sure everybody's questions get answered. The webinar is being recorded, so we'll have it posted on our website. So if there's something that you missed or you need to go back and review, or if you want to share with a colleague, that will be available most likely by Monday. It'll be on our webinar. Or I'm sorry, on our webpage. Okay, so let's go ahead and get things started. Today's presenter is David Campbell. David is a certified Bluebeam consultant and trainer. And without any further ado, David, I'll let you speak a little bit about your experience and then dive right into today's presentation.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's a kind of rainy morning here in Portland, but I still think it's kind of a beautiful morning, and it is Friday. So happy Friday to everyone out there. So a little bit about me. I'm an application specialist. I am a Bluebeam certified consultant and a Bluebeam certified instructor. I've been doing Bluebeam training now for about 2.5 years. And in that time, I've kind of gotten the experience of working with people from very kind of varied backgrounds, I want to say, different disciplines, governments, well, city governments, or working with, I want to say, architecture firms, mechanical firms, kind of what have you, and learning the different kind of functions of Bluebeam Revu. So today we're really going to go through a little bit about us as Topcon. We're going to talk a little bit about Bluebeam and kind of what we're seeing there. We're going to talk about the learning objectives that we have for this webinar. And really today is focused on letting you guys know what's going on in Revu 2019, what they have adapted or kind of adopted with the 2019 release, because we did experience a few issues here and there with that 2018 release. I mean, there's no hiding that. We all know about it. There were some bugs there with that 2018 release, and with 2019, we feel that honestly, there's been a lot of work put into it, and I'm excited to talk about that with you guys. So, getting started, Topcon Solutions, we serve the AEC industry as the retail division to Topcon Positioning Systems. As well as we are as well an Autodesk Platinum partner and of course a Bluebeam Platinum partner. So before we became Topcon Solutions, we were known as the PPI group here in the Northwest. We were acquired by them, and now we are all essentially one big happy family with offering different essentially offerings, these workflows, productivity solutions between of course, the brands between Autodesk, Bluebeam, but also getting into what Topcon offers is allowing us to be a leader in this industry, right? We're becoming, it's kind of interesting to see what we're turning into in terms of the full kind of workflow solution. And we have 13 different locations covering 20 different states, and we're growing. We're constantly growing. So Bluebeam. And Bluebeam, as you guys know, empowers people to advance the way our world is built, right? One of the biggest things I love about Bluebeam is the fact that their program is, I mean, it touches almost any industry, right? And almost any industry you look at, Bluebeam can or is involved in one way, shape, or form. Also, that they allow us to kind of, I want to say, integrate with other solutions to really better our processes, right? Now, Bluebeam was founded, and a lot of you may know this, but Bluebeam was founded back in 2002. And currently, there are 130 different countries using Bluebeam currently. 94% of the top US contractors are actually using Bluebeam Revu. They have 1.6 million users around the globe, and there are 30 Bluebeam user groups, which fortunately I am a part of 2 currently, the Portland bug and the C bug, the Seattle bug. And there have been 22 billion collaborative transactions recorded. That's amazing, but it shows you the use is there and it's growing. So Bluebeam Revu. Of course, Bluebeam Revu is known for the efficiency and collaboration that was built for the construction industry, right? We have a great PDF program with a lot of awesome tools, and essentially Studio is in there free, right? Bluebeam is really taking a focus with 19 on increasing the accuracy, reducing costs, and minimizing risks associated with your workflows. Now, let me go ahead and ask you, how many hours per day do you guys typically have Revu open? If you can, just go ahead and put that in the chat box. Now, typically, what I see is that many users will be, and we're still waiting on some of those answers to come through, but typically what I see is many people are having Revu open for 6, even to 7, 8 hours a day. Some are using it, you know, in terms of 1 or 2 hours in little spurts. But a lot of people that I've found are in Revu kind of in and out pretty much all day. And it's kind of crazy that, I mean, we are so dependent on this program really for a lot of different workflows, whether it's managing your documents so that you can have everyone in the field on the same correct version, or it's marking up the documents for your design review process. So, you know, the architect and the draftsman, or the engineer and the draftsman, can essentially be communicating and getting the designs correct. Or, you know, it's a takeoff and estimation workflow that, you know, you're essentially having all of your takeoff crew into a session, you know, and they're all essentially building off of each other, doing their takeoffs right there and their bids right from the documents there.
David, most folks we're seeing is anywhere from 2 to 8 hours, a heavy emphasis on the 6 to 8 hour mark.
That's right there. Okay, so that's that mark. It's kind of crazy that when you look at it, that's how much time that you're spending in one program, right? Like, we are heavily dependent on this program, and a lot of times, I mean, I'll be honest with you, you'll see some lag from 18, right? And even when you speed up some of those, you change out your rendering engine, you maybe wait for completion on essentially when it's moving around, right? You're adapting or you're adjusting your preferences to try and get it to keep up with you, especially with these bigger documents, these bigger sets. Well, Bluebeam saw that, and they're really trying to work on it for 19 with the speed. Now, let me ask you guys, this is just kind of another question here real quick, but what would you say has you the most excited about Revu 2019? Like, what have you heard that gets you the most excited about what's going on with this? I mean, some saying, or the rendering engine, that new rendering engine they put in it. Some are saying, oh, that new configuration editor, that's going to be really exciting. It allows IT managers, or well, just BIM managers in general, to go ahead and build a nice deployment, kick out these beautiful, Bluebeam Revu work sets, essentially, or interfaces onto their computers already set up for the users. There's so many different things. I think actually they worked on the Takeoff and estimating tool to increase, of course, when you're rendering, but the accuracy of the renderings and the accuracy of the Takeoff tools. And that's pretty exciting in itself too. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited about all of it. So.
So we're seeing increased speed. It's kind of a difficult interaction to have to go to the questions, but probably we'll just proceed.
Okay, yeah. Well, and honestly, that's a lot of what I see is the speed, right? And what we're going to see with 2019 is they have a new rendering engine, right? A hardware accelerated rendering engine that's going to allow us, like right in here, it's playing on the side here. Typically, that's what you'd see, right? When you zoom in and zoom out real fast, it takes a minute to render. Now, and on these large document sets, sometimes you'll see that. Sometimes you'll actually see it just turns black, or it'll turn white, and then it takes a few seconds to go ahead and process. With this new improved rendering engine, okay, they're stating that we can pan and zoom up to 6 times faster, and I have been testing this out. I have been playing in Revu 2019 for about 2 weeks now, and I can honestly tell you that it is definitely an improvement. The rendering engine, the speed that it's actually rendering, I can zoom in, zoom out, I can kick it to the next page, I can jump around in my thumbnails, and as I'm jumping through my, even with my hyperlinks, it's quick. It's very nice. All right, so the quantity takeoff improvements that I talked about, we have an automatic prompt to scale, so that's very nice that we're not going to have to worry about that caliber. Well, you're going to calibrate it whether you like it or not, honestly. Which that's, if I'm honest, every one of my takeoff and estimating classes, that's the first thing I say. You always want to calibrate that document. You want to make sure that that's just the first thing that you do. Well, Bluebeam Revu saw that and essentially said, well, hey, we're going to go ahead and kick up a dialog box that goes ahead and before you even make a measurement, we want you to calibrate. Now, the nice thing about it, though, is you don't have to just calibrate by the actual dimensions anymore. We all know that going into the measurements tab, typing in that scale actually can leave a little bit of room for error, right? Well, Bluebeam Revu actually has preset scales that you can go ahead and set to these documents. So you can either use that calibration or you just hit input and then you go ahead and choose one of your preset scales and you're good to go. Okay. Oh, and I do want to go ahead and talk about the independent units. Of course, you have the independent units with your measurement now, so that's always going to be fantastic. I mean, we've had it before when you could actually choose independent units in the measurements tab, of course, and then go ahead and choose like your square footage, your volume, if you wanted cubic feet, you want cubic yards, what have you. But they're actually going to allow us to utilize that with the tools themselves. Okay. And then, of course, it's giving us the running totals for everything as you're going through doing your takeoffs. It's going to give us the square yards or the square feet, okay, cubic yards, cubic feet, and then it's going to go give us the running totals of all of that, of course, within our markups list or in the actual measurements tab. The configuration editor, this one is actually very exciting too because it allows you to simplify and standardize your deployment, right? As you go through, you find the tool sets that you guys like, you find the, I want to say, the profiles, you're going to find anything that you guys want, where you're pulling this from, where you're pushing it to, what folders or where, and it's allowing you to standardize this entire deployment and push it out. Okay, it's very fantastic, makes things a lot easier when you're managing a few different licenses, right? And you're managing these deployments. So here's another kind of slide to go to that. You're going to see that we have that delayed authorization. You're not doing that coding, right? And I mean, essentially, they're sliders now. Sliders, drop downs, and then fillable boxes. So that's going to make it so much easier. especially when you're pathing everything, okay? I do like having the stapler desktop shortcut on. I can't tell you how many times I'm going through this a class, a Bluebeam class, and I'll say, hey guys, you guys want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on the stapler. You know, we can drag DWGs over here and convert it. And a lot of people will tell me they've never even seen the stapler. Where is it located? Hey, you know what? If that's something that you can utilize to convert those DWGs, those RVTs, or even if you get a scanned document or something and you don't really have OCR yet, go ahead and run it through the stapler. Let Bluebeam's printer driver run over those graphics, and I mean, essentially converting it a little bit, okay? So that's something you can try to do. That's another one of those workarounds. Now, I do like how this is built as well. It's going to give you that if you want to build a new deployment, if you want to update an already deployed installation. So if you see that something's off, you can go ahead and just patch it. You can push out, there we go, those extensions right there, pushing out those custom profiles, your tool sets, everything like that to standardize these interfaces. So I'm big on standardizing our interfaces, standardizing the workflows or the processes that you guys have, right? If you have different departments, that's great. Start building out your different profiles with your different tool sets, everything like the interface in terms of the toolbars, the placement of the actual tabs for the panels themselves. If you think about it, if we can get onto something like that where we are standardizing it for like new hires, okay, these are the tools that you need to do your job. You standardize that in your deployment and you're good to go. That's no more essentially confusion of interfaces. You don't have random tools laying everywhere that are getting used that you're essentially having to go back through and try to clean up. Too much. All right. Now, here's a lot of things that you can go ahead, I mean, inside of this configuration editor itself, like the features, what you have, if you're using the digital signatures, if you want them to edit text, if you want product updates to go ahead and pull in, if you want them to be able to do that, redaction, register the licenses, self-signed certificates, translating markups, a lot of that kind of stuff. The big ones here. So essentially what you're going to see is that this is reminding us a lot of the Bluebeam Administrator, right? In that Bluebeam Administrator, you go ahead and turn those things on with the plugin. You're setting up some of those features with the digital signatures. You're kind of adapting or adjusting Bluebeam Revu to you. And that's what this configuration editor is going to do as well. And then they don't really need to get into the administrator. Okay, at that point, excuse me, you're pushing all of this information out to all of the computers. Now, training and resources for Bluebeam Revu. I've been doing, as I said, training for a couple of years now. And I do get asked quite a bit, what resources do you guys have? What resources online, or, you know, can I sit down and watch a video, a webinar? Where can I find some training materials? So I really felt this one was pretty important. First, I'm all about self-promotion. So I'm kidding there, but we have a lot of different classes in Bluebeam Revu. These are all the different classes that we teach here at Topcon. You can see we have different locations kind of going. This was off our upcoming calendar, but we are always making new kind of classes and putting them on the calendar for our public courses. We also do the customized classes, all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of different workflows for Bluebeam Revu, and I cannot stress enough that you guys should really be looking at your workflows when you're looking at training for Bluebeam Revu, okay? Talk to whoever you guys want to get trained by, whoever you're looking at, you know, just make sure to have the conversations about workflows. It's not about the picks and clicks. The buttons, the tools are all great. They're the same. It's the workflows that really make this program stick out for you. Now, we also have, just like today, we have a lot of webinars that we post up on our website. So you can find our website, topconsolutions.com, and you find the You're Invited tab, and typically you can find some of the upcoming webinars or any events that we have for Bluebeam Revu, such as occasionally we host a tap tour or anything like that. You're going to also on Bluebeam's web. Bluebeam, I can't tell you guys enough. Bluebeam is a very awesome company for supporting of training and offering resources on their website and through Bluebeam Revu itself. Most of the time when you guys go up to the help tab or help on the menu bar within Bluebeam Revu itself, you can find training resources there. You click on that and it's going to take you to their website or open up a hyperlink document with little videos in it. Okay. Now I do want to kind of hover over this tab here for a second. Resources. Now you're going to find those how-to videos, some free webinars. One really big thing though, under resources at bluebeam.com are those extensions, review extensions. When you do a search for review extensions on bluebeam.com, you can typically find several tool sets: mechanical, electrical, plumbing, architectural, oil and gas, PNID. You can find some stamps, some pre-filled out stamps, also those the JavaScript, I want to say interactive stamps. You're going to find your interactive stamps on there as well, and also profiles like the structural steel, the legal, the oil and gas profiles. You're going to find those there. So a lot of times I don't like rebuilding the wheel, and I'm not going to tell you guys to. If you can go ahead onto their website and find some of those free resources and utilize those to build your custom tool sets that you guys can use and deploy, I'm all for it. Let's do it, right? So getting involved. This is another piece. All of you out there, I mean, I feel that a lot of people have the same passion that I do for this program. It's a very fun, very great program that we can get heavily involved in. And with that, there's programs and events, right? The Extreme Conference. Oh, I had the opportunity to go to the Extreme Conference this year in Washington, D.C. During that time, I was able to coordinate and kind of network with a lot of like-minded individuals who used Bluebeam Revu. But also, I mean, in that time, I was talking to them. We're talking workflows. Hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? It was great to be able to share the information and just to be able to talk. Now, I'm also going to say that right there was great. But if you go to something like the XCon, the Extreme Conference, they also have classes there. They have a lot of different professionals who are utilizing Revu in so many different ways. You may not even think about ways that it can be used. And you find out in this class, it's what I've been looking for. Whether it's, pushing out my my markup summary into Excel and then kicking that to Power BI so I can go ahead and just quantify everything in real time as I'm doing my takeoff, or as I'm pulling materials and pushing items into the PDF itself. Also, for those, you're going to see they do have, just as in this picture, the product showcase. The product showcase for me was definitely a lot of fun because you're able to go around, and of course, you're going to play with Bluebeam Revu 2019 or 2020, whatever the newest version coming out is going to be. But you're also going to see things like Bluebeam Drawings, right? Bluebeam Drawings is fantastic. It's a free PDF viewer for any mobile device. And I mean, being able to kind of navigate through that, see how it works, and talk to the experts on it and see how I get it, essentially, I don't want to say installed because it's an app, but how I get the access to my users of the app, how I assign those drawings licenses or access into my projects, okay? Also with Bluebeam Atlas. And it was an awesome opportunity to see Bluebeam Atlas and talk to the guys over there. It was just great seeing what they're doing with the technology, right? And how it's growing, how it's really going to change what we do. Opening your mind to something like that and seeing it in action, but being able to go into the product showcase and actually touching it, playing with it. You're placing issues, you're talking to some of the engineers right there asking, okay, well, if I needed a safety area, if I didn't want anyone to go into this area on my site, how would I do this? And they can show you on a PDF that you would go ahead and draw an area right on that site that would actually, if anyone walked into it, it would send an alert to their phone or their device that they're logged into, that essentially if they're on that site, it's going to send them an alert, an alarm, and ask them to leave it. And I mean, that's coming from a 2D PDF. And it's insane. Now, the Bluebeam user groups. This is another big one. If you are not currently in any Bluebeam user groups, I would definitely advise you guys to go ahead and get into one. Look around and see if there are any user groups in your area. The San Diego one is amazing. I know those people down there are constantly coming out with great ideas and new workflows to talk about with Bluebeam. Here in Portland, the Portland Bluebeam user group, we have meetings almost every month, and they honestly, it's just a great place to be able to share information and ask questions. And I mean, at that point, it's free. Send your users, or you know what, take a little bit of extra time. I know sometimes they're after work. If you can, spend that hour there. Learn about Studio. Learn about, you know, how projects and sessions kind of work together. Learn about the different markups and how you're adjusting your subject to be able to track and create smart reports with your summaries. Okay, people there, I feel, are all about sharing information. And if you have resellers, ask your resellers to get involved. A lot of times that's what you want. You want people to be able to help out and really push, you know, I want to say materials, but kind of pushing this education, this sharing that knowledge with everybody that you can. And that's what those user groups do. And also, last but not least, there is that Bluebeam beta program. So if you guys like Revu as much as I do, getting a hold of that beta is great, not only for us, but it's great for Bluebeam too, because if some of these power users, and I know some of you out there are power users, if you guys can go ahead and, well, essentially recreate your workflows in here and see, all right, this isn't keeping up with me, I need this to be faster. Hey, bring it up to them, let them know, give them any ideas that you have. We want you to break it. That's really what they want you to do. If you can break it, great. They see a way to fix it, right? That's a problem that needs to be solved. And that's when we really want to find it, is in that beta. All right. Now, Revu 2019 is available now. So you can go out and download it right now. If you guys have maintenance, just roll right up to it. Do I advise it? Yes, I really do. Honestly, it's been great. I haven't had any of the bug issues that I was having a lot from 18. I was having an issue there for a while with my blend modes too, not being able to use my highlighter. It wasn't recognizing text, you know, the speed, little things like that. I'm not experiencing that with 19 so far. Now I also understand the waiting till the .1 release, so I'm not, you know, pushing anybody out of their comfort zone there either. But it is available for you guys now. And of course, while I'm talking about that, again, I do want to do another push to Bluebeam Drawings. Bluebeam Drawings is available. You guys are going to be able to see it either on your Android or iPads or even, you know, iPhone mobile device. What you'll have to do is you get into your Bluebeam gateway and you have to assign users that are going to be using that Bluebeam Drawings to those projects and allow them access through Bluebeam Drawings. Okay. So getting the most out of Revu, I do want to talk about maintenance, right? A lot of times we see that, I mean, maintenance is kind of used on and off, right? For me, it's very important because you're getting the free upgrades. You're not paying for a new license every year. Now, do you need to upgrade every single year? Maybe not. But in this term, I mean, I would think upgrading from 17 to 18 was great. Upgrading from 18 to 19 is actually a little bit better in terms of the speed, of course, your deployment configuration, the accuracy with those takeoff tools. So really, we're looking at upgrading. And if you get this maintenance, which I think it's like, I don't want to quote it online. I don't want to quote it, but if you get maintenance essentially with the license, then you're going to get those upgrades. You're going to get exclusive features such as Bluebeam Drawings, because you do need maintenance with that. And then you're going to have support, right? And that's when you add the 1 year of maintenance to your purchase with Bluebeam Revu. Okay. Do we have any questions?
No, the only question is they're looking for new features.
New features. All right. So Can anybody see my screen?
Yes, your screen is showing.
Got it. Cool. All right. So for some new features, really, you're not looking at, I want to say, too much in terms of big features. Let's go ahead to construction set B here. Get into, oh, I got to turn some of these off. I had a class yesterday I taught. Just turn this one off. Get rid of that grid. And options. We'll get rid of that full screen crosshair. Okay. So some things, of course, that you're going to see, as I said, that kind of rendering engine, right? That's a big one that you're going to notice. It's increasing the speed there. I want to say with the measurement tools, so something like our polylink tool, anything like that, of course, when you first go right there, so it's going to pop up with that set scale, and it's going to ask me if I want to input a preset or a custom scale. This is very nice if I know that this is like 1/8 inch equals a foot, and there it goes. Okay, so we're seeing quite a few things like that. Okay, now you're also going to notice this has kind of increased here and there. The dynamic fill is actually pretty accurate now. I do like being able to kind of set this to, of course, I want to set my boundary size pretty much all the way down, set your edge sensitivity to high, and then go around and start taking your measurements, takeoffs kind of from there. But I want to say, I don't think there are any new tools as in features. I don't think so. I think Studio Projects has remained the same from the 18 upgrade. Studio Project or sessions and projects are the same. I think drawings was the big thing, and then the speed, the configuration editor, and the accuracy for your takeoffs. Those are the ones that I'm seeing.
Okay, we do have some questions about drawings.
Okay.
All right, first one is, how is Bluebeam Drawings better than the old iPad app that would let you use markup tools?
So in that sense, if you're wanting to use the markup tools, it's not. Bluebeam Drawings is great because it allows you to get to access documents from any mobile device, so your phone, anything like that, but it's just for viewing the documents. So if you're downloading like Bluebeam View on the iPad, then I would definitely just convert over. You don't need to use those iPads. You can convert over to a phone or anything like that. But if you need to mark up, you still need the $10 iPad app.
Okay. Can you run 2017 and 2019 side by side to try 2019, but not fully change over your license?
Yes, you can. When you actually install the license itself, there's an option there to run it side by side or to replace it. You want to run it side by side, and then you can go ahead and kind of navigate back and forth. Now, if you're making the change from 17 to 18 or 19, excuse me, that's definitely the way that I would do it, because you're going to see that, of course, your interface has changed, but you're going to notice that the symbols for the tools themselves have not. They're a little less colored, but you're going to notice the actual symbols are the same. So what I like doing is kind of running that side by side to get the association of what is what, and then get rid of 17 as soon as you're feeling good in 19.
Okay. Here it is. Here's a long question. In 2018, we have many occasions where a document created in Bluebeam but signed by a subcontractor with Adobe completely crashes Bluebeam when we try to open it. We have to open Adobe and then print to Bluebeam in order to reopen it. Is this fixed in 2019?
Well, yes and no. I could say that there would be an issue with a digital signature being on Adobe. It should be able to come into Bluebeam, but it wouldn't let them do anything to it. Now, I haven't seen that issue specifically. I've gotten some documents, actually. I've gotten some documents signed to me, and they've opened up just fine. I would actually.
You want to take this one offline?
Yeah, let's take this one offline and see if I can't help you figure out what's going on there.
Okay, so David's going to reach out to you specifically, John, and see if we can diagnose that a little bit better. Can sessions work with people using both 2017 and 2019?
Yes, sessions you're not going to have any issue with. The ones that you might would be a project. If you start a project in 17 and you go to 19, it'll work just fine. But if you start a session with, or excuse me, a project with 19 and you send an invitation to somebody who has 17, they will not be able to join the project.
Okay. Is there any way to return the interface to the 2017 standard? New interface will require many extra hours of training.
Well, I would say that's something that they're kind of looking at right now with profiles, but it hasn't been implemented yet. No. A lot of times what one of the big reasons I'll say that they went to this new interface is because they felt like it would be a little bit easier for new users to get into. The problem is the old users were definitely used to the way the interface was. We liked it, right? But it is a big change. As of right now, we do not have those profiles to go back and forth between like a classic and a new view. That would be a very cool thing, and I have heard that they're looking at that. But yeah, as of right now, no, sir, there's there.
But now this is me speaking, and so I'll ask you, is this something that we can help companies with as a group, maybe on a remote training session for just specifically this, so that it doesn't take companies hours and hours?
Definitely, yeah. We actually do. I do lunch and learns. We do. We can do an hour remote or 2-hour remote training session just to show you where everything is, so you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure everything out. Because I mean, I've worked in this program myself. My other instructor, Vinny, we do this every day, and we know the ins and outs of this program. We know if you need a certain feature, we know where it is. So if you want to get trained up in terms of that specifically, let us know. We reach out, we'll go ahead and get something set up to where we can do an hour or two with you, just like we are now, essentially like a webinar. You ask questions, where is this? And we can guide you through it and help you out. We are here as a resource for you guys. Anything that you need with this program.
Yeah, great. Has the Bluebeam Help resource been updated to include newer 2018 and 19 interface graphics?
Say that one again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Has the Bluebeam Help resource been updated to include the newer 18 and 19 interface graphics?
They are still working on that one too. Yeah, they are working on that one. You will see if we come into like the shape markups, or if you go into like the call out tool, some of these, well, actually, yeah, it looks like they have updated it now. Okay, that's nice, because I know there for a while we were waiting on them to update this. So it looks like they have made that change.
Okay, looks like everybody learned something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that concludes our questions, unless anything comes in here in the next couple of seconds. Again, we want to thank everybody for attending the webinar, and we'll reach out to those that we called that out on the, John will reach out to you directly. And if you have any future questions about Bluebeam, again, like David indicated here, we have a full team of Bluebeam experts. So we offer consulting, training, tech support, and we can do that in person, remote. You know, if you've got a place in Hawaii, I'm sure they'd love that as well. We'll be happy to
bring me to Hawaii.
That's right. We'll do training in Hawaii. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us, and we appreciate it, and watch for our next webinar coming up soon. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Wendy. Have a great day and a great weekend, everyone.